His wife, Laura, and she'll get things going, because I'm sure she has a lot of great things to say about her husband. No, you're not going to say anything about your husband? Okay, here you go. Laura, give her a hand.
I want to start out first by thanking everybody for coming out today. Why are you not shopping? When we planned this thing, we originally planned it for February, thinking awesome, that'll work, people will come. But our girls are home, and Kevin said, I cannot not have a party on my last day. The guys here at the department always put on either a breakfast or some going away party, and he wanted all the rest of you to enjoy that party with him. So we had to have it today, and you all showed up. I got like 4 people who said they weren't coming out of 150. This party couldn't happen without some help, and so I specifically want to call a few people. Matt Betancourt, he was my key contact with the department. He told me that Kevin is a legend, and so we have to have a party for Kevin. So he and I have been in contact by email, and boy, the whole A shift today put up tables. Laura, what can I do for you? Put out the cupcakes, put out the cakes, decorate tables, put out flowers. They did it. So thank you, all of you that helped today. I so appreciate it. I do want to also thank, am I going further? Oh. Did you come to my wedding? If you came to my wedding, beepers went off during our vows, and all the firefighters had beepers. It went off. He stood up and said, sorry, Laura, I gotta go. And he proceeded to walk off the altar. Of course, I grabbed him, made him kneel back down. That was just the beginning of our marriage. Okay, so I also want to thank Mark and anybody else who helped make this possible, Kevin being able to be here the whole day. They have to shift some things around and call in people to work for him so he could be here and not have to go out like these guys. So thank you, Mark, we appreciate that. What? And Sean. I know, Sean's next. I also want to thank Sean Kinnison, who put together that awesome collage up front. He asked me for pictures. He's been working on it for a while. If you take a tour around the top upstairs, there's a bunch of beautiful other different displays and pictures that Sean has put together over the years of all the firefighters and their families. So thank you very much, Sean. Did he leave? Oh, okay. Just tell him. Okay. Next, I want to thank my peeps. Janice, Auntie Kim, Rochelle, and Lois, who came in last night at the last minute, helped us get a lot of things together, and Lois even stayed overnight and helped cart things today. So thank you, girls, thank you so much. I also want to thank Auntie Kelly, who spent hours and hours doing these beautiful flowers, and she claims she's not a florist. But she did all these flowers. It's not an easy task. I now have a huge appreciation for the time she puts in. Thank you, Auntie Kelly. Did I get everybody? My kids, my girls, for helping out. Oh, by the way, if you have a next career for Kevin, please add it on a post-it here. We're taking any suggestions. We have quite a few days during the month that we have to fill.
It says be a grandpa.
Next, I just want to say that when Kevin and I got married, we had to go and see a priest for a little bit. When you're in the Catholic Church, you meet with a priest. And the priest, our very first time, we sat down with him, he said, so, Kevin, what do you love about Laura? And he said, she's good people. I of course said things like, he has integrity. And that's what I want to pass the mic off to in a minute is to lead off with or send off with integrity. The man has so much integrity, and when you think about a firefighter, you want a firefighter who has integrity, which really equals trustworthiness, dependability, follow through. And that's what he's been for me, my integrity, and awesome firefighter, 30 years of integrity in this awesome occupation. I know they will miss you. All right, he is good people. Hey, he is good. All right, with that, man of the hour. Yes, you're in.
Mackenzie.
Newark, a lot of people from Newark when I first started. The one thing I loved about Newark, and some of you will not understand this, but how they accepted the way I was kind of nuts or whatever, but it's a family in the fire station, and so I'm going to do something here in a second. We're going to see if they pick up on it. There are several times you would walk into the fire station in the morning, and it was just, to this day, you walk in there and everybody's, people are sitting at the table. Here comes, thank God, here comes my relief. But many times when I worked for the city of Newark, and yes, it's Alameda County, there's a fantastic fire department, but you'd walk into the station in Newark, and all of a sudden, as you walk through the door, here's what you would hear. You would hear that, and then you would, then you would break them down, just like in football. And I loved it. To this day, I walk in the station, and it's quiet, right? I'm the old guy. But anyway, I do miss the days at Newark, and I thank everybody for coming here today. Like I said, I got to thank Bob Bodner and his, would be Steve Bernard to help us to become ALCO Fire. Alameda County Fire is top notch. It's like going from Chet. Are you ready? Where's Chet? Say it, Chet. Say it. It's going from the minors to the majors, right? No. That was your quote, right? So anyways, when we became Alameda County, I love Newark, but Alameda County, they had a lot to offer. And it worked out for my family, and I'm sure most of the people out here too that went from Newark to Alameda County. So thank you, Alameda County, for letting us use the facility here today. And thank everybody that is coming here today also. I know a lot of the older folks, whether you're from Alameda County, Chief Hopkins, you were from Eden, right? You know what it was like for those little departments, right? You knew everybody, you knew their families, and I miss that. I cherish that. Those were great times in my years, and you were with Eden too, right? Big guy back there. Eden, right? And we have some Castro Valley, Dennis from Castro Valley. So thank you very much for showing up. And like I said, I want to thank Matt, Sean. I'm just going through this stuff real quick. And I want to thank, and it's a famous one. Is that Maurice Baker here? Thank you, Mo. Thanks for showing up, big guy. I want to thank also a tradition here in Newark as we go back. Everybody, my kids, we used to have Christmas parties here, and they were always longing for, what were they? Kimball's famous black bottom cupcakes. We found out when we told Kim we were having this party, my family wanted the recipe. Kim said, don't worry about it, I'll bake those for you. So thank you, Kim. Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Arch, for taking the rest of the shift off. Thank you. Like I said, if you look at some of these clippings along the way, I want to give reference to some of these clippings that I have. When I first started, there was a gentleman named Willie Vate. And the guys from New York know who I'm talking about. He was a quiet guy. And he said, wouldn't it be good when you retired? He said, I wish I would have done it. I wish I would have just saved some clippings. So I saved along the way, I saved a couple clippings. And then when this all came about, I opened up a binder, and here they were. So it kind of brought me back. So I thank Willie for telling me to do this kind of stuff. So thank you, Willie. We miss you. I want to thank the chief that hired me, Chief Leonizio, who passed away, and some of the other former Newark people that used to be around when I was here that are no longer here, chiefs that aren't here today. I want to thank one of the guys who helped hire me, and he hasn't been around lately because he got sick, was Brian Caminata. I'm very thankful to have my mom and dad here. They're able to see this. My wife's mother and father, they're still around. I have aunts and uncles and my brothers and sisters. Thanks for being here. Real quick, I'm going to try, I don't want to keep this too much longer, but my path to becoming a firefighter was, I realized when I was at Chabot that I was not going to be a field goal kicker. Sooner or later, it hit me hard. It wasn't going to happen. I had to find a career to do, so I got it. There happened to be a house fire across the street from my parents' house, and I saw Fremont Fire and what they did, and I thought, hey, that looked pretty interesting. So I got involved with that. Got my firefighter one. 4 years later, after working on the ambulance, I got hired here in the city of Newark. Like I said, it was a small, tight-knit community and fire department, and they took me in. It was fantastic. I have many stories of people out here that, as I'm looking at them right now, I could say. I'm very happy as it just popped in. Bob, I'm sorry to say this, Bob, but sometimes my Tourette's kicks in. It's good to see. It's good to see the people that I got hired with. Chet, there's Chet Melnark right there. How about an applause for Chet? Thank you, Chet, for showing up. I got Doug Henninger right back here. Doug. And Joe Medina back in the corner. That was the class of '89, so thank you very much. Thanks, guys, for showing up here. Huh? Oh, yeah, so two things. Doug, of all things, thank God, Doug. I grew up in Fremont. I love Fremont, but today is Doug's actual last day with Fremont Fire. He came back to Newark to celebrate my retirement, and I appreciate it, Doug. Hi-oh! Anyway, moving on, I'll try to move along here quick. So, as most of you know, I've through the years, I've been called the coach, right? So I've been coaching almost 30 years, but I can honestly say, and the young lady is here who I coached, I need to mention her. I got all my, whatever, accolades, or whatever you want to call it, because of this young lady right here, and Maria Lopez. Thank you very much for coming today. I'm going to finish up with saying what I loved about being a firefighter, and some of you might understand. You should hopefully understand this. If you've ever played a sport, or if you've ever, in a play or do something, there's a time in your life where you have an adrenaline rush, right? So to me, the adrenaline rush, it was like playing sports. My first fire, believe it or not, and my colleague, my daughter, we were looking it up last night in our logbooks. We couldn't find it. We found a blanket fire that I put out. But my first fire was literally across the street over here, and there's a vacant lot. There's a vacant lot. No. That doesn't say we were that bad, right? But when I got hired, it was with Ernie. Well, my crew was Ernie, Captain Hawk, and Archie Bowles. And they'll remember this here in a second. So we were asleep, of course. It was like whatever hours of the night it was. And I remember this loud bang. This was not the station. It was down the road. This loud banging on the door in the station. And then suddenly the alarm went off inside the station. And fire, you had a fire. They threw out the address. I remember going out and the bay door opening up, and it was like you looked, and literally across the street from the station was the fire. It was an abandoned building. It was the fire, and I immediately had this euphoric rush, like I was a ball player again, right? That's what I felt like when you see these coaches running out onto a field with their team, breaking through a banner, right? I mean, that's what it was like. The crowd's roaring. You got people watching you. So believe it or not, that is what I loved about a fire. You would prepare for it. It was like a game. You would prepare and who knows when you would have it happen. But when it would happen, it was unbelievable. The training you did to prepare for that and the equipment you wore protected you. My last fire, Mark Garcia, he came from Station 19. Thank you, Mark. Castro Valley guy right there too. Thanks for coming out. My last fire here about 3 months ago, I was with a brand new captain, and if we were actually upstairs, we were working out, and the alarm went off, and it was hard to hear where it was at, but we knew it was in Newark. I remember coming down the stairs. I didn't take the pole because I didn't want to get hurt anymore. I had to go slow. Came down the stairs, and I remember walking literally right here. And as I stood right here, I looked over and you saw this huge column of black smoke, right? And there was that euphoric feeling again, right? So that was almost 30 years later that I still had that feeling. It'll never go away. I love it. I will always remember the fire service about that, just that preparing, and then when it finally happens, fighting the fire. So it's been a great career. I appreciate all of you coming here today. I know it kind of rambled along. I thought I was going to break down and cry. I tried to make it. So thank you all. I appreciate it for coming by here today. Thanks.
Hi guys, thank you for coming out. If you don't know me, I'm Kylie. But my sister and I just wanted to take a second to talk about my dad a little bit and just thank him for everything. So growing up, we were very used to my dad, unfortunately, missing a few birthdays or Christmases. He was gone. He wouldn't be at home every night. And I had friends ask me, does that ever upset you? Does it ever make you sad that your dad's not there? And it never did. I was just used to it. It was the new norm for our family. It was always that way. But then I really thought about it some more, and I realized that my dad is the most selfless person I know. As all the firefighters are here today, they're giving up their own special times with their friends and families to go save somebody else's. And I don't think I ever fully realized the impact my dad really made on everybody else's lives until probably this last month, when all of the retirement stuff started coming up. We were planning this, and I really got to see it yesterday when I went on a ride along with him. It was his second to last day, so I got to go with him, and all day he was getting calls and people were coming in and just saying, congratulations, we love you, you've done great and everything. And one thing that stood out to me the most was one of his coworkers came up to me and said that it was an honor, and she was so proud to work with my father. And she said that she genuinely doesn't think that there is anybody that can say a bad thing about my dad. And I couldn't agree more. He is incredible, and he cares so much for everybody else. And I feel like growing up a lot, you're asked somebody that you look up to, and sorry. Dang it. Who your hero is. And without a doubt, my dad is my hero. He's my hero because of the countless lives that he saved. He puts his life on the line every day he goes to work, but most importantly, because he's an amazing father. And
Jesus!
He's given my sister and I the most amazing life. He cares so much, and he will do anything and work so much overtime to put me and my sister through college, give us everything we need. And I can't thank him enough. And lastly, not that this is happening anytime soon, but when I do get married, I do know that the person that I end up with will have the characteristics of my father. He will be so caring and loving, do anything for anybody else, and be absolutely hilarious.
Yes. Yeah.
I love you so much, Dad. Thank you.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Kylie's speech was amazing. Wow, so I'm going to put in a couple of other things that I didn't say on here. Make mine sound a little bit better. But So I wrote this speech last night while I did a ride along with my dad. He was in his cubicle, I was in mine, and he kept telling me, "Don't come in here. I'm trying to write my speech. Don't come in, I'm stressed." Right, okay. I guess I gotta write one down too then, yeah? So my dad is my best friend. Here I go already. But he is my hero, just like my sister, my absolute best friend, and the only person I know that can talk to me about pole vaulting for hours and hours without getting bored. Over the years, I think I've spent more time with him than most of my friends. One of the things that was growing up, being able to just wake up in the morning to my dad coming home from work and him saying, "All right, saddle up, let's go pole vault, or let's go kick the soccer ball." It's these memories that I will cherish for the rest of my life. And I'm so grateful that I had a father that instilled that in me and my sister, to be active and be participating and be open in the world. So thank you for that, Dad. Sorry, I didn't write any of that down. As we all know, he is an amazing man. He has touched so many people and has saved countless lives. He deserves this retirement, even though I know he won't be retired for very long. He will find something else to do because he'll go stir crazy. But he has been such a great father, and like Kylie said, I can only hope one day that I will be as great to my children as he has been to me. And I cannot forget my mother, because it is not easy to be a firefighter's wife or husband. Sometimes you're raising your children alone, or you're making tough decisions by yourself, while your significant other is out saving other people's lives. I just want to give her a shout out because she has been such an amazing, supportive wife over these years to my dad. And you both inspire me in so many aspects of my life. And I can't wait to get all the calls from my mom. This is my mom's favorite quote, is to just say, "Oh, Kevin, just go to work. Just go to work." When are you working, Kevin? When are you going back to work? And Ernie always said that my dad was the funniest guy. And then he would always come up to my mom and say, "Isn't Kevin just hilarious?" My mom would be like, "Oh, God." So I can't wait to get these calls when my mom calls me and says, "I can't even tell your dad to go to work anymore." So, to conclude, congratulations, Dad. I couldn't be more proud to be your daughter.
I got one more thing. Gentleman back here asked me today, he said, "Any advice?" And I've got the best advice in my life, career. I wouldn't be here today if my wife wouldn't have told me when I was coaching at Cal, "You're missing your kids growing up. You need to come home and spend more time." So for all the newer guys that are still working, there's so much overtime. I know you can go and do whatever you want to do, but that was the best advice. I would not be here today if Laura hadn't said that. Where I stepped away from coaching at Cal and went home and started raising my kids the way I should have been raising them. So thank you, Laura, and thanks for doing all this today too. Thank you. I apologize for what's coming. I apologize. This is my dad. He was a principal in Newark.
You know, if there are a lot of young people in here and probably have teenage children. When Kevin was a teenager, I remember an incident, I swear to this. There was a time in his life when he did something so bad that I thought to myself, what kind of adult is this guy gonna be? I mean, he's crazy. He's doing stupid things. he grew out of it. We all did stupid things when we were teenagers. In most cases, our mother and father, at least in my case, my mother and father didn't know what I had done. In his case, everybody knew what he had done because everybody broadcast it. His mother and I naturally are it's terrible. We're extremely proud of him as a son, but more so, we're proud of him as a husband and a father. He's just been fantastic. Congratulations, brother.